not effort. You're not on Sesame Street anymore, folks. It may sound charitable to grade on effort, rewarding hard work with higher grades, even in the absence of measurable student system of. I'd like to explain how the grading system for the course works. By the way, the system is the one adopted by all the departments in the college. Its premise is that grades are a system of communication and, therefore, are worthless unless everyone uses them the same way. We issue transcripts so that employers and graduate schools will know how well you, students, have performed. Here's how people across the country will interpret the grades we give. A. The students did as well as could be expected. B. The students did as well as could be expected with some flaws. C. The student met the minimum requirements for the course. D. The student learned some of the material but did not meet minimum requirements. F. The student learned little or none of the material, that is, he failed. There's no point in saying that the letters ought to mean something else. For instance, that C ought to mean average. When you speak a language, you have to use it the way people use it, or they won't understand you.
So, your grading system is universal and follows the standards of the country?
Exactly. Also, grades measure results, not effort. You're not on Sesame Street anymore, folks. It may sound charitable to grade on effort, rewarding hard work with higher grades, even in the absence of measurable results. This, however, won't work in practice. I have no way to measure how hard each of you work, do I? Mind you, despite recurring rumors, I'm not a god. Anyhow, yes?
Well, may I say something?
Okay, shoot.
You mean effort doesn't count at all? It seems to me kind of unfair, not taking into account differences in things like natural aptitude and learning styles.
Sorry, but the university gives degrees for mastering course material, not for enduring drudgery, and grades are part of a degree. No matter how much you sweat in the process, it doesn't count unless you cross the finish line. Would you rather be operated on by a doctor who had an easy time in medical school, or by one who had a hard time and got his passing grade on effort? Grading on effort can conceal incompetence, or at best, send you into advanced courses for which you aren't prepared.
When you put it that way, yeah, it makes sense.
All right then. Now that we're on the same page, there is one more thing I'd like to mention. That is, grades are not numbers. We use numbers to make certain that grades are given fairly, but the grade itself is a teacher's professional judgment of a student's mastery of the subject. It does no good to tell the world that you scored between 80 and 90 on my exam, unless I also tell the world exactly what is on the exam. Likewise, it makes little sense to issue arbitrary declarations that B is 80 to 90. The university publishes course descriptions, not exams.
But you'll give us the range of A's, B's, and C's, though, right? Like B is 80 to 90?
Or the percentage of A's, B's, and C's. Like top 10% gets A's and bottom 10% gets F's, or something like that. I think it is very precise and fair way of grading.
Are you sure?
Well, that's what our high school teacher always told us. The fairest method of giving grades. And he gave us the range of scores for each letter, you know. Was he wrong?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll give you grade ranges, but not percentage. You're talking about two different things. There's no percentage in giving grades according to certain set ratios, as they say. You know why? Because students should be graded against course requirements, not against other students. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure a certain amount of competition among you guys is very healthy, but you shouldn't suffer because your fellow students do well, nor benefit because they do badly. Do you know where I'm coming from? A graduate school or employer will want to know whether you mastered the contents of the course, not whether your fellow students failed to do so. And so, to answer your question, yes, your high school teacher was wrong. Do you see that now?
Completely.
Alright. This method of giving grades based on how a student's work compares with other students is called grading on a curve. You may have heard of it because a lot of IQ tests and other standardized tests use that. But what most non-statisticians don't realize is that grading on a curve works well only when the class is enormous, with perhaps 1,000 students, and only when the student performance is known to be constant over time. Alas, we are just mortals, and our performance can fluctuate from year to year, or from day to day for that matter. So, in a class of around 50 like ours, random variation will surely invalidate any attempt to give A's, B's, and C's to fixed percentages of the class. Believe me, I make a living being a statistician. And on top of that, grading on a curve allows standards to sync to any depth, as long as all students sync together. A scary thought, isn't it? Oh, by the way, I refer all cases of suspected cheating to the Office of Judicial Programs. This may sound a bit heavy-handed, but it's the only way to make sure that the student gets a confidential investigation by experts, followed by a fair hearing. Of course, if it's proven that he was indeed dishonest, he gets the F that he earned.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't dream of being anything other than that. I'd like to explain how the grading system for